Hello! Welcome to another fantastic episode of Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable discussion. Before we get started, let me first remind you that we are covered by the BIPCOT No Government License, which allows for the use and reuse of this podcast by anyone and everyone except for governments and the bludgies thereof. You can learn more about that at bipcot.org. That is BIPCOT.org. We're also protected by Brandenburg v. Ohio, 1969, which ruled that the government cannot punish inflammatory speech unless that speech is, quote, directed to or inciting or producing imminent lawless action is likely to incite or produce such action. Therefore, everything said here on Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable discussion is entirely hypothetical. This is episode 181. And for some reason, we're still around. I know I make that joke every episode. But, yeah, Jason, man, it's just the two of us. Memorial Day is tomorrow, and so yeah, it's the non-military guys tonight. So,
yep.
I'll
try not to be as boring as normal.
No. Looks like Chris might join us at some point. So otherwise, it's just the two of us. Just the two of us. So that's a terrible song for me to sing. What's that?
We can make it if we try. A decent show.
No, this is all. This we should just title this. Oh, okay, we fucked up. It's like episode 181. Okay, we fucked up. We should episode 181. We should have just canceled.
That'll be the title.
I think I called it what did I call it? Something strippers and something. Oh my, whatever.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I'm uncreative. Like we don't, okay. So actually, this is a good conversation because you were a video game guy, right?
Yeah.
Right, role playing games.
Yeah.
One of the like role playing D&D, any of that sort of. One of the hardest things ever was to come up with a good name. Right, and I was always terrible at it. Like I had 2 or 3 go-to names, and it would just be like the same character, but there'd be like a 2 behind their name or something. Right? It's that hard with naming podcasts too.
Yeah, I had my staples in certain phases and stuff, like when I played the WWE games and stuff, and have my character names, for the character creation stuff. The online ones, I'd always stick to my same high school nickname, which coincidentally is still my Twitter @ as well. So it's like originality. Come on. So.
Yeah, totally unique and original.
How hard it is to be original.
Well, for the last decade, they called me Wolf, right? Because of that page, A Wolf in a Sheep's World. It stuck with me, and like 90% of my friends list on social media is because of that page, or people I met through that page. So I don't know, it just stuck with me, and it's not accurate at all. So let's see.
It's more like the image of the wolf with the cross eyes, and
it's the retarded SpongeBob wolf,
Uh-huh.
But yeah, Glowies, strippers, and coward cops. Oh my, that's what it was. Yeah. Nigel, I'm looking for a good, sexy role-playing game. Woo! Wrong channel for that one. Forest Mommy's doing Golden Shower Sunday though. But yeah, what do we want to get into? Where do we want to go first?
God. Well, let's start with something on the serious note, I guess, and then finish with the lightning.
Oh, here we go. Because we were talking about it before. You're talking about interviewing for a new job.
Yeah.
America's paying most income taxes ever.
Oh, yeah.
Ever.
Pay your fair share. Yeah, we are. A lot more.
The Treasury expects to feed on a 28% surge in individual income taxes this year and another spurt in 2025 when the Trump tax cuts expire, according to a new budget analysis presented to Congress on Thursday. The latest Congressional Budget Office report revealed expectations of 2.6 trillion in individual income taxes this year, up from 2 trillion last year. Not only is this the highest ever, but it's also the biggest share of gross domestic product since income taxes began.
Which is kind of,
and that's just income taxes
to believe. Yeah, but it's kind of interesting to believe because there's so many people not in the workforce earning.
That's where I was going. Right. So because they don't tax Social Security. No. Right. So this is like income tax, worker tax, $2.6 trillion, and that's up 0.6, which is $600 billion over last year. So that's up like another, like 30-something% over the previous year.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah,
but
2020,
your fair share.
Yeah, it's a fair share of my ass. In 2021, actually, if they took 30% of my ass, that would probably help. But anyway, in 2021, recipients from individual income taxes totaled $2 trillion, or 9.1% of GDP. Under current law and on the basis of receipts observed through late April of this year, CBO, that is the Congressional Budget Office, expects individual tax income recipients to raise by 28% in 2022 to 2.6 trillion. That is 10.6 of GDP. It is expected to be the highest amount of individual income tax receipts recorded since 1913, when ramification of the 16th Amendment authorized the federal government to begin collecting income taxes. Let's see. The CBO expects. The CBO said that overall federal revenue is expected to reach a record $4.8 trillion in 2022. So I'm going to say that again. Overall federal revenue is expected to reach a record $4.8 trillion in 2022. The 2022 budget is like $6.8 trillion. The federal budget is $2 trillion more than their expected income.
Yep. Which just adds to the deficit even more. Because how could they not rein in their spending when we're bringing in trillions of dollars in tax revenue?
What's a few children between generations, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
I think my parents' generation's bill just got paid off. Maybe.
No, it'll never be paid off. It'll never be paid off. It's insane the amount of money that they take from people for the roads. How are the roads in Colorado?
Oh God, there's shit.
How's Interstate 80 going over the divide?
Actually,
you know what I'm talking about.
Yes. Some of the roads going up into the mountains are actually the smoother ones because they get damaged so heavily all the time, so they're constantly cleaning them up. But the ones on the outer skirts, like where I'm at, north of Denver, the highways are bumpier than shit. I'm like, it feels like I'm back in California.
Go fishing in potholes.
And I'm in a 96 Ford that, the shocks are not great in that year. You feel everything.
It's 96, so those seat springs are even pretty bad now, too.
Yeah. You feel every damn thing.
You might as well be sitting on a milk cart.
It feels like I'm in an old, covered wagon, just...
Yeah. You're going to get caught in the snow and end up having to eat Sandy. If you don't know your history, just look that one up.
Dysentery.
Yeah, 4.8 trillion in 2022. That's a 19% 1 year increase.
That's just insane. It's like, how does I didn't hear of any tax increases yet. We have
No.
less people in the workforce and more taxes coming in. How does that work?
Let's see. Number of people in the U.S. workforce. Let's see. 164 million. 164.6 million as of February 2020. Let's see. Doesn't say. Okay, civilian labor force. March 2022, you're looking at 164. 160, April 2021, March 2022, 164, 62.4%. So 62.4% of Americans are funding $4.8 trillion. I'm sorry, no, $2.6 trillion. So pay your fair share for them roads.
Mm-hmm. The roads and our endeavors overseas. 40 billion to Ukraine here. And
40 billion to Ukraine there, empty shelves here. Mm-hmm. Now, our shelves look like this, so Ukrainian forces can look like that. You seen that meme? That shows yeah. Says our shelves look like this, and it's the formula section.
It's empty.
And then it shows Ukrainian with the brand new military gear.
I've seen the one where like the dirty, rough hands. It's like my hands look like this, so the Ukrainians can get 40 billion.
My hands look like this, and there's like a picture of like the SIG 226, right? And so my hand looks like this. So her hand looked like that, and it's a credit card. It's a decline. Yeah. Yeah, we suck. Yep. So, let's see. The strong revenue growth in 2021 and 2022 results mostly from large increases in collection of individual income taxes. Total revenue in 2020 projected to equal 19.6% of the nation's gross domestic product, the largest annual revenue relative to size of the economy since 2000. That's not a good thing to brag about, in my opinion. That's a whole lot of theft.
Exactly. A whole lot of extortion going on.
Yeah, the numbers are higher than the agency predicted last year. And as the economy recovers following the virus crisis. God, I hate that they're still fucking calling it that.
Mm-hmm. I still see people driving with masks on by themselves.
Yeah. In 2025, it'll rebound even higher because the tax breaks that Trump signed into office in 2017 will expire.
Yeah.
And we know Biden's not going to extend those, so yeah.
No. He's got to pay for World War III coming up.
WW?
Mm-hmm.
W3. Speaking of W3, let's go. One of the largest defense contractors in the nation donated to 150 members of Congress as they debated the Ukraine military aid.
Oh, but your vote matters.
Oh, hold on to that thought, because I got another article about that. No, but one of the nation's largest defense contractors last month donated to a campaign of nearly 150 lawmakers as they debated sending arms and defense supplies to Ukraine. The contractor, Lockheed Martin, spent a total of $256,500 in April, donated to campaigns of members of Congress, gubernatorial campaign, and Republican and Democratic political action committees. Of Lockheed Martin's PACs, 147 donations to the campaign of federal legislators. 5 went to members of the Senate's Armed Services Committee. I'm going to say that again. 5 went to members of the Senate Armed Services Committee. Republican Dan Sullivan of Alaska and Democrat Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut, Joe Manchin of West Virginia, Tammy Duckworth of Illinois, and Mark Kelly of Arizona. The company's PAC also donated to campaigns of 27 members of the House's Armed Services Committee, including Democrat member and Chairman Adam Smith of Washington, whose campaign received $2,500 from the PAC.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. Lockheed Martin's PAC spending in April represents one of its more active months in the past several years, both in terms of the number of recipients and dollars donated. This is the best part. In a statement Monday to Insider, Lockheed Martin said its PAC, quote, continues to observe long-standing principles of nonpartisan political engagement in support of our business interests.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna read that again.
Mm-hmm.
Lockheed Martin said its PAC, quote, continues to observe long-standing principles of nonpartisan political engagement in support of our business interests. They passed a $40 billion spending for Ukraine right after Lockheed Martin paid 147 members of Congress nonpartisan political engagement in support of their business interest.
Their principled business.
Their principled, yeah, the principle of nonpartisan political engagement in support of their business interests. but I'm the crazy one for saying that. The military-industrial complex is just a big conspiracy theory. It doesn't actually exist, Jason.
Yeah, no, we're just nutters. We don't believe nothing.
If you don't like it, vote harder. We just need to get better candidates.
Why don't you start your own PAC, Jason?
$256,500. Yeah, I can't afford a politician, bro. My vote. Right? If you can't afford a politician, your vote doesn't matter. Your vote doesn't count. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. I've gotten in arguments with people on Twitter about that. And it's like, oh, well, we just need to do better. And we can start our own PAC and everything. And blah, blah. It's like, really? Really? You're going to start a PAC to compete with the ones existing.
You got a $250,000
billion-dollar corporations behind it.
Yeah. And keep that thought in mind, because I got another one coming. But as Lockheed Martin gives its money to legislators through April, lawmakers were discussing more than 10 Ukrainian-related bills. Jesus. On May 19th, the Senate overwhelmingly passed the $40 billion humanitarian and military support package. Lockheed Martin co-produces the Javelin anti-tank missile system, which Ukrainian defenses have used against Russian forces. The U.S. just sent Ukraine at least 5,500 Javelin systems since Biden took office, with the majority coming after Russia's invasion. What a coincidence! Spend $250,000. They spent $256,000. $256,000 to pass a $40 billion aid package. And their missile system is part of the aid package.
Shocker. I wonder how much the missile system costs. Like per one.
Lockheed Martin and Raytheon Technologies announced in mid-May that the two companies' joint Javelin venture was awarded two contracts worth $309 million by the U.S. Army to produce more missiles. They spent $256,000 to make $309 million. but your vote totally matters, bro.
Oh, absolutely.
Change your profile picture to that Ukrainian flag. It totally matters.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Your vote just totally
Yeah.
matters. You don't like
During
something, just vote for a new politician. You got it. You got this.
Yep. During the first quarter of 2022 alone, that's what, January, February, March, Lockheed Martin spent $3.3 million on federal level lobbying efforts.
Wasn't it I know you guys covered it, but wasn't it like 2020 they spent like $1 billion in, like, all the lobbyists in Washington spent like $1 billion.
Oh, they spent more. They spent more than that. OpenSecrets.org. That's my go-to site for all that.
Mm-hmm.
And they spent. Let's see.
It was like a big article that you covered.
Let's see. Lobbying overview. Let's see.
It was like 900 something million in like 2020 or 2021 or something, or 2019 or some shit like that. It was actually a mainstream media article.
Let's see.
Might have been Reason.
Let's see. I just have to find the right section. Let's see. There it is. No, that's not the right one either.
Anarchy Kitty was trying to chew the cords.
Yeah, Luna Cat.
Don't chew the power cords.
No, blah 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 blah. Let's see. Where's the overall summary? Let's see. 2021. Let's see. They spent what is it? 3.6 billion dollars was spent on lobbying in total at the federal level.
Yeah, so it went up.
Yeah.
So I remember the article that was covered was 950 million.
Yeah.
At one point.
Let's see the top industry. Let's see. Let's go to. No, wait. Where am I going? Oh, I haven't been on this site in so long that it's got me all fucked up. Let's see. 2021. The number one industry was the pharmaceutical and health products. How much did they spend on lobbying? Take a guess.
Them by themselves, pharmaceutical.
Whatever your guess is, it's going to be way off.
Probably.
Yeah, they spent $356 million.
I was actually kind of close.
The second highest is electronics manufacturing. They spent 179.
Half.
Literally half
of the pharmaceutical industry. Holy shit.
Yes. Half.
Wow.
Half. Yes. Let's see. Let's see what defense spent last year. Let's see.
Defense is lower than that.
Yeah, defense doesn't have to spend a whole lot because they're powerful. Because their foot's already in the door, type of thing, right? Like with pharmaceutical companies or with the pharmaceutical industry, they have new things coming out all the time, right? Defense contractors, defense is pretty much the same thing, right? So people already know the defense
and utility industry, stuff like that. Same thing.
Yeah, it looks like defense industries last year spent about $120 million. This year alone, 2022, they have spent $31,745,395 on lobbying. Just this year alone. Yeah.
And they're making billions.
Yes, but I'm the crazy one for pointing that out.
Yep.
No,
we are the domestic terrorists for putting that out.
Yeah, I want that on my social media. Like they give people like blue, certified check marks. I want a red certified check mark. Certified domestic violence extremist. Nah.
That would be a goal.
Yeah, that would be the coolest merit badge ever. Big Charles or Jason says, mighty cute pussy you have there, pirate. They literally found it like right outside the door, you guys.
Yeah.
Like literally right outside the door, and like a day later
last night.
Yeah. And who adopted it? Their big ass dog.
Yeah.
Their big ass dog is who the cat cuddles with.
My 95-pound shepherd boxer mix, Simon, is the daddy to the kitty. The one that terrorizes squirrels and gophers galore, things that are her size right now, has adopted the kitty.
Yeah. But we said your vote matters.
Yeah.
Your vote matters. totally matters, right?
Okay. Absolutely. You don't like it, just vote different. Get some
Crypto billionaire says he could spend $1 billion on the 2024 election.
I bet he could. Holy shit.
Democratic billionaire Sam Bankman-Fried said he could spend $1 billion or more in 2024, which would easily make him the biggest ever political donor in a single election. Bankman-Fried, 30, he's the founder of the cryptocurrency exchange FTX, said in a podcast that he expects to give north of $100 million in the next presidential election, and that he has a, quote, soft ceiling of $1 billion, with his spending likely to be on the higher end if former President Donald Trump runs again.
Wow.
The kind of money would be, quote, in a league of its own, says Alex Bumgart, a researcher with the campaign finance tracker OpenSecrets.org.
So he'd be willing to spend more than $1 billion to make sure Trump doesn't get into office.
Well, no,
that's how much Orange Man bad.
Well, you remember after 2020, after Biden took office, Newsweek came out with that article about how they shored up the election to protect democracy. Mm-hmm. This guy's just trying to protect democracy by spending $1 billion lobbying against a candidate,
single-handedly trying to choose.
Well, they spent on the 20. I don't think the numbers have come out for 2020, but 2018, they spent like $3.7 billion on the midterm election. I think 2020. I think they spent $5.7 billion on the last presidential election.
Yeah.
I want Orange Man to run just to drain that Tools account. It says he has a worth. Has a worth north of $20 billion. So he's looking to spend 5% of his fortune. So
let him.
Bankman-Fried is estimated to be worth more than $20 billion. Said he has already given away more than $200 million to various causes. Cautions that his political plans are still in a flux and that they can be contingent on what the landscape looks like. Quote, I would guess north of 100 million. As far as much more than that, I don't know. It really depends on what happens. It's really dependent on exactly who's running here for what. Let's see. He said 1 billion is a decent thing to look at as a, I would hate to say hard ceiling because who knows what's going to happen between now and then, but at least sort of a soft ceiling. But your vote matters, guys. It totally fucking matters. It totally matters who you vote for president.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Joe
Yep,
Nobody
totally
in South Los
represented.
Angeles. Yep. Joe Nobody in South Los Angeles. Your one vote, like, totally fucking matters.
Yep.
Vote red in the next election, and it totally fucking matters. I swear, it totally matters in the state of California who you vote for. It totally matters. It totally matters. It absolutely matters. It absolutely
Trust the process, man. Trust the process.
Just listen to what Q has to say.
Q
the
has
amount
all
of money.
the answers.
That amount of money would be unprecedented, and it would shatter records several times over. At least if it were all spent on the so-called hard money, which includes donations to candidates, parties, super PACs, and other groups who have to report to the Federal Elections Committee or Federal Elections Commission. It's impossible to know how much other wealthy donors have spent to influence politics via so-called dark money, which includes donations to groups like think tanks and non-profit advocacy organizations. 2020, leading up to that election, there was one very, very, very prominent non-profit advocacy organization that were funded by some very deep left pockets. I'll let you use your imagination on what dumpster they set on fire. The most hard money, that's tracked money, an individual has spent on any election cycle was $218 in 2020 by the late Republican casino mogul Sheldon Adelson and his wife Marianne, according to Open Secrets. The Adelsons have competed in recent years to be the biggest donor in the country, with Democratic billionaires Michael Bloomberg and Tom Steyer, who have spent $75 to $150 million in the last three elections, not including money they spent on their own presidential campaigns in 2020. Liberal billionaire George Soros this year committed to spend $125 million towards this year's midterms. Beyond those well-known names, even mega donors typically top out around 40 to 60 million per election cycle. So 100 million would put Bankman-Fried among a tiny handful of the country's biggest donors. But your fucking vote totally counts, Joe from South Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. And all that money they donate to politicians and their campaigns, which advertising, all that bullshit and everything. It's like, but y'all get pissed off at Musk because he wants to buy Twitter. He could end world hunger, but he wants to buy Twitter. Like, well, they could end world hunger too.
Not only that, they were on Musk's side because Musk trying to criticize Trump. Yeah. And then Musk goes to buy Twitter, and they're like, "Holy fuck, no!" and totally flip the script on him.
And he was a lefty, and they flipped the script on him.
He's the richest African American in the world.
Yep.
But they don't want to talk about that.
Nope.
Let's see. Brandon, on the related note, the last episode of Red, White, and Blueprint aired tonight. Red, White, and Blueprint is a fantastic documentary series put together regarding Shasta County here in California, where your vote actually does matter at the local level, where the Cottonwood Militia and associated members got really upset with the Shasta County Board of Supervisors. Did a little, I'll just call it, they said some things that were kind of spicy, and then launched a recall petition and got like half the board recalled, and then got their own people installed. And literally at the local level, militia, members of the militia, friends of the local militia, took over the county seats, bro. Like in California, conservative militia walked in through legal means, took over the county.
Where is it? What is it air on, so I can look it up?
It's on YouTube. Red, White, and Blueprint. But that's a fun series. That's a fun story too. When you really dig into it.
Oh yeah,
because they did everything right.
Sounds good.
Absolute localization.
Mm.
No. Yep. And I guarantee you, this guy's not going to spend $100 million on Shasta County. No.
But if it spreads like wildfire, that'd be nice.
Well, I mean, it's
intended for California.
Well, it's also a huge sign of that political divide. Like we talk about it in our group chat a lot. Not necessarily like the secession movement, but the political divide, the balkanization. We talk about that a lot, and like especially like the redoubt with like Idaho, Wyoming, Montana pushing one way, people fleeing, literally escaping Washington, Oregon, California to move there. It's a political escapism.
Yeah.
Right, and it's huge right now, and I fucking love the idea. Oh. Cops in Texas went against the signed SOP, not going in, should be fired, arrested, as well as their brass. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Dave. He's talking about Ubalad or Ubalade or whatever the hell it's called. I didn't really want to get into that. We get into that, though. I think I do have an article about it. We don't need to talk about more crypto billionaires, right?
No, we're good with that.
No. But I did have a.
You already know, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I did have one article about Ubalad. I didn't want to talk about a lot about it because I don't like. Oh, it's one of those subjects that hurts me. But Texas police lieutenant said cops were reluctant to engage gunmen because, quote, they could have been shot.
Mm-hmm.
Texas Department of Public Safety officials said responding officers were cautious as they entered Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, because, quote, they could have been shot. 19 children and 2 teachers were murdered after authorities say an 18-year-old male entered with a rifle 12 minutes after he crashed a car near campus. I don't think it was 12 minutes. I think it was like 9 minutes or something like that, whatever. New York Times reported that the shooter was inside the school for about an hour before officials finally breached the classroom he was in, shot and killed him. One girl inside the room reportedly bled for an hour after she was shot. She died at the hospital. It is unknown if the hour might have saved her life. Of course, it would have made a big difference.
Of course it would have. She died because she lost all of her damn blood.
Yeah.
That SOP, Dave, they might, in theory, or what they're supposed to be doing is, going in and protecting us. But obviously we all know that, four court rulings, at least, I think, that say otherwise. And then also the training shifted years ago to where they're told, you got to make it home tonight to your wife and kid, that kind of thing. So they look at everybody and this is how they're trained in some of the major law enforcement schools. One where I grew up at in Riverside County, Ben Clark Training Center is a huge one. They are trained that everybody is the enemy, not you're innocent until proven guilty or any of that bullshit. That's for the courts.
No, it's the war.
All the enemy.
Yeah, warrior cop ethos. But
yeah.
Let's see. So this is a quote from DPS Lieutenant Chris Olivares. DPS is Department of Public Safety. It's a Texas thing. He's the head of the South Texas Division. Olivares said officers were inside the school quickly and they heard gunfire when they arrived. They called for reinforcements, he said. The officers in the building waited for a special tactical team to show up as they isolated the shooter in one classroom. So Blitzer responds, quote, don't current best practices, don't they call for officers to disable the shooter as quickly as possible, regardless of how many officers are actually on site? Oliver says the officers who arrived at the school quickly might have been shot had they attempted to take out the gunman alone. He said, quote, the active shooter situation, you want to stop the killing, you want to preserve life. But also one thing that, of course, the American people don't need to understand, that officers are making entry into this building. They don't know where the gunman is. They are hearing gunshots. They are receiving gunshots. At that point, if they proceed any further, not knowing where the suspect was at, they could have been shot. They could have been killed. And that gunman would have had an opportunity to kill other people inside that school. What?
Police have armor. Police are trained on breaching because they are constantly fucking doing no-knock raids all the goddamn time. Like, the increase on no-knock raids over the last decade is insane.
Yep.
So they know how to use cover.
I guarantee that some of these cops have kicked in doors to arrest people for cannabis.
I guarantee those same cops that stood outside that fucking school are fucking going to do that next week. A low-level warrant, 20 of them all in the same exact gear they're standing outside torturing the fucking parents with, are going to be breaching somebody's door and probably shoot somebody or shoot somebody's dog. Guaranteed.
Yeah, receiving gunshots at this point. If they proceed any further, not knowing where the suspect was at, I don't know, go fucking look. They could have been killed. There were people being killed because you hesitated.
Yeah.
And the gunman would have had an opportunity. And the gunman would have had an opportunity to kill other people inside that school. He fucking did.
He had fish in a barrel in that fucking school because they hesitated.
Yes.
Because they wanted to go home at night. These kids didn't.
Yeah, 40% of them have to go home and beat their wives.
Yeah. How many cops were standing outside, and then 40% of that went home and beat their wives? I couldn't save those kids.
Yeah, who ran in there? Like there was a guy that grabbed a shotgun from a barber, went and saved his kids. There was a mom that the police stopped and like handcuffed her on the ground, and when they finally let her up, she went around them, jumped the fence, and went and got her kids.
Yep, completely unarmed.
Right. Yes, like they knew where the guy was. They knew where he was.
They went and got their kids out. The cops got their own kids out.
Yeah. But even like the there was a border patrol special unit that showed up, like some guys from the guy that took out the shooter, he was part of that unit. But they showed up and the police were like, no, stay back. Like they held them off.
And he said, fuck you, and he went in.
Yeah. No. I don't really want to dwell on that, but
no, let's go on to something else.
Yeah, let's no. Speaking of, oh god, I don't know where I want to go now. As a result of that, okay, let's go to Adam Kinzinger. He is a Republican out of Illinois. Representative Adam Kinzinger, Republican of Illinois, said Sunday on CNN State of the Union that he is now open to some sort of assault weapon ban following the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. Anchor Dana Bash said, quote, Congressman, you do still oppose a ban on the kind of assault weapons that were used in the shooting. Can you explain why private citizens need weapons of war? Kinzinger said, quote, this fucking quote is so long. Kinzinger said, quote, look, I have opposed a ban, fairly recently. I think I'm open to a ban now. It's going to depend on what it looks like because there's a lot of nuance on what constitutes certain things. But I'm getting to the point where I have to wonder, maybe to my own one, maybe you need an extra license, maybe you need extra training. So the question is a ban versus additional certification? I got to tell you, 99.9% of people that own ARs, we all know, are not going to walk into a school and do this. But the problem for those that support the Second Amendment like me, we have to be coming to the table with ways to mitigate 18-year-olds buying guns and walking into schools. My side's not doing that. My side's not coming forward with reasonable ways to defend an amendment that we think is very important. So I'm looking at this going, fine. If people are going to put forward solutions about certifying maybe who can buy an assault weapon, I'm certainly open to that.
See, I've been fighting with a FUD all day, just like that on Twitter. You know, it's like, when are you going to bend? And he's supposedly pro 2A, by the way.
Yeah, if you're
conservative. But when are you going to bend? It's like, we've been bending for over 100 years.
Bending since 68 at least.
Yeah, you know. Well, when was the NFA? The original one was in 19. Because there's
68.
Was it 68 for the NFA? I thought that was GCA.
No, GSU was 86.
That was before.
No.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, you're right. Either way, yeah, Nigel.
Yeah, either way, we've been. Every single law is a bend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like, when are you going to start bending? When are you guys going to start bending the other way?
Yeah, you know? Like you escaped California, right? But like,
there's still bullshit here.
I have to do a background check to buy ammo.
Yeah.
Like, I have to a legit NICS check. Like, I have to do the same background check to purchase ammo that I have to purchase. Yeah, every time I buy ammo to purchase a firearm, it's the same background check. You do 4473 and the works. Like, but it's not an infringement.
Yeah. Fuck you, no.
Yeah, fuck you, double no. Or double fuck you, no. Triple fuck you.
Yeah.
Just no. No.
Yeah.
No. No. And a lot of the people screeching, like 99.9% of the people screeching, are not the ones that are going to come stack up at your doors.
No.
No.
No, they want government agents to do that. The same ones that stood outside that school and didn't do shit.
The people that claim to abhor violence are the same people calling for people with assault weapons, quote unquote, to come kick in your door and take your quote unquote assault weapon.
Yeah.
Right. And one of the other things now they're calling for a federal red flag law. Right. First off,
I didn't see that one.
Yeah. First off, that would not have stopped anything in this case.
Nope.
It wouldn't have stopped anything in the Buffalo case either.
Nope.
So
it wouldn't have stopped anything in Vegas.
No.
And it didn't stop anything in Parkland because everybody knew about them, but nobody reported them.
Yep. It wouldn't have stopped anything in Bakersfield.
Texas church shooter, the former Navy guy, whatever.
Yeah.
Didn't stop him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. No, it hasn't stopped any of the weekend shootings in Chicago. And this is a 3-day weekend, so you know they're going to have a lot of shootings in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
And none of the red flags won't stop them.
Nope.
Universal background checks won't stop them. Nope. Right? The shooter in Buffalo, the shooter in Uvalde, they purchased their firearms legally. The airman that shot up the church in Texas purchased his firearms legally.
Yep.
So... And New York has a bunch of fucked up laws with like the New York with the SAFE Act. So like that guy was using like 10-round magazines. So there you go. It's still fucked up. And he was a racist piece of shit.
Didn't stop San Bernardino. San Bernardino.
No, it didn't stop San Bernardino. It didn't stop that kid Elliot, whatever his name was. The USC UCLA shooter. The incel that was upset that he couldn't get a date, so he shot a bunch of girls.
Yep.
It didn't stop him. He had a legally purchased firearm, and he was using 10-round magazines.
Yep.
So.
Never mind the fact that he also used knives and had a backpack full of knives and shit apparently too.
Bro, what is it? The UK just had a mass shooting with a bow and arrow.
Yeah, I saw that.
Dude went and killed like five or seven people, something like that. What's bow and arrow? like what?
Spice Robin Hood.
Dark Robin Hood.
Nigga Robin Hood.
Too much emphasis on hood, not enough emphasis on the good part.
Yeah. It was like nigga Robin, like what was it Scott Pilgrim? Nigga Scott. Nigga Robin Hood.
I didn't know you were going. I didn't know where you're going with that one. I was worried for a second. I'm in too many weird group chats. Oh, so. But this quote here, it says, blah, 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 blah. But the problem is for those that support the Second Amendment like me. Yeah. We have coming up with it. We have to be coming to the table with ways to mitigate 18-year-olds buying these guns and walking into schools. My side's not doing that. My side's not coming forward with the reasonable ways to defend an amendment that we think is very important. That's because you're trying to defend the wrong fucking thing. The Second Amendment will defend itself. Yeah. And there's an article today about a guy in Texas, East Texas. Like, he called up the school board and was like, hey, you guys mind if I go, stand out in front of the school just to keep an eye on things, right? And they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. And like the article said that they had people come up to him and shake his hand and say thank you. Like, he said he couldn't sleep after the Uvalde shooting. He had to do something, so he went and stood out in front of the school to protect his kids. Like, how hard is that? And I saw a thing the other night about the $40 billion that was just sent to Ukraine. There's something like 13,000 schools in the United States or something like that. Like, that number's not correct. I'm secondhand knowledge here, but like it's something like if you broke up the 40 billion among the number of schools in the United States, that each school would end up with like $185,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. So you take that 185,000, you divide it by 3, you pay 3 guys to come hang out at your school. 3. How many military personnel are unemployed right now? How many people met with military training, military combat training after the last 20 years? How many of them are out there that don't have a job that would happily stand outside of school and kit for $60,000 a year? So, I know a few. I know several.
Oh yeah, you could throw a rock in some major cities and find one easily.
Yeah. Yeah, it hurts me.
Yeah, no, it does.
No. But all right, I don't want to talk about that anymore.
Yeah.
Let's
try something else. What else we
got? Strippers can apparently better forecast the market than your finance bro.
Strippers. Support single moms.
In a tweet that has since gone viral, a Netzian who claims to be a stripper declared that we are currently in a recession based on the empty status of strip clubs. The user explained that, quote, the strip club is sadly a leading indicator, and I can't promise y'all we are in a session. Or, let's see. I'm going to try and read that again because it's hard. I don't speak. Yeah, I don't speak internet speak. The user explained that, quote, the strip club is sadly a leading indicator, and I can promise y'all we are in a recession, LMAO. The strip club is sadly a leading indicator that I can promise you we're all in a recession. LMAO. Okay. So it's supposed to manage it. The tweet has garnered 120,000 likes, nearly 15,000 retweets. In a series of recent posts related to the original tweet, the user made their case arguing that sex work has survived through every war, recession, decline of empires, and pointing out that strip clubs have been, quote, an operative tool for business people and not just a source of sinful entertainment. Referencing the 2001 Enron Corporation scandal, they claim strip clubs are where, quote, energy salesmen bring their clients and recruiters bring prospective finance bros, describing strip clubs and the world of business as deeply integrated. As strippers, quote, we always have to be aware of the fluctuations in the market and how upper-class white men are behaving and spending their money. Ask any stripper. We have to be aware of how rich people are going to spend their money. Stripping is better on a stripper is stripping is betting on how much the rich spend their money. She says, quote, you're gonna tell me that isn't just the stock exchange. She's not wrong. She's not wrong.
No.
I mean, I talked about this with our homie Handsome Monkey. Like there's a few recession-proof industries, right? Alcohol, cannabis, firearms, some pharmaceuticals, recession-proof. Yeah. Strip clubs are pretty high up on that list. They're not recession-proof, but they're one of the first indicators, right? Because it's the syntax. Like once people start running short on money, then one of the first things they cut out is the syntax, right? So they stop gambling, stop going to strip clubs, stop going to baseball games, football games, things like that. Like they won't stop going to the bar, right? I mean, they still go out and drink, they still buy their alcohol, but they're not going to go to strip club. And with
they mitigate their vices.
Yes, vices. That's a better word than sin. Yeah, but she's not wrong. She's not wrong. Like when stripper pay slows down, that's when you know the economy is downturning. So, let's see the article. She goes on to say, the user also made the point that the company holiday parties, which take place in December when finance employees typically receive their end of the year bonuses, quote, make up a large part of the strip club revenue, emphasizing again that connection between strip clubs and the condition of the market. The person ended their series of tweets by concluding that, quote, every stripper I know is a better trend forecaster than any of the finance bro or market executives. One user responded with a personal story sharing that early 2007, a friend who was stripping at the time told them, quote, the club is way too dead for way too long, and advised them to sell the stock then and buy it back after the market crashed. Quote, I thought she was crazy, but she did it, and she ended up almost doubling her money. It's not wrong. It's
no.
The user's name is Reverse Cowgirl 69. I have to say that. I have to put that out there.
Nice.
The things we talk about on this damn podcast.
Yeah.
No.
That's no different than what we would talk about in front of a fire drinking a beer.
Yep. So there's a comment.
Recorded for degenerates to watch.
Here's a comment from one of the responders says, honestly, this makes so much sense. I majored in political economy. The stock market is a very poor indicator, but everyone uses it. Fact.
Yep.
We all know that the stock market numbers are manipulated.
Oh, yeah.
I drive Uber part-time, and I have known this for years. When things are good, the clubs are full, and when they are half empty right now. True.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. Let's see.
Somebody needs to start a strip club exchange, like
this person says I want a strip club index.
Exactly. Exactly. Monitor this nationwide strip club customer base, like how full they are and everything on a Wednesday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like,
Hashtag stripper index.
Yeah, you can base your stock earnings and shit based off the stripper index.
If the stripper puts clothes on, are we really in a bear market? Then there's a bunch of people asking for financial advice, which is just not the right way to go on that one. It makes a lot of sense to me. It makes a lot of sense to me. It's as you said, the vices, like the vices are the first things to go. People bear down. Again, like alcohol's recession proof, right? But bars aren't recession proof. Alcohol will always sell, but bars won't. Clubs won't. Cannabis is the same, or black market cannabis, not white market cannabis. Black market cannabis will always sell.
Things that mark up the cost of those vices, just for like atmosphere or any of that other shit, that gets cut out first. Yeah, because people are like, I can buy a cheap bottle of booze and go home and drink it and get the same effect. I don't need to be,
Yeah, I mean, you go to a club for the atmosphere, right? To see the boobs, to get attention, to have them around you, right? To have that good feeling. And when you don't have the money to do it, like you go to the club, you pay your entry fee, you grab a $7 beer and you go and sit down. They're not going to pay attention to you. You got to be up by the stage. You got to be spending money, buying bottle service. Then they come pay attention to you, and that costs money. And if you don't have the money because the recession's bad, they're going to notice that. Contrary to popular belief, bro, the stripper is not in love with you.
I'm in love
hashtag sorry, Andrew.
It was one time, or was it 2 or 3 for him at this point? I can't remember.
Just one time with the stripper.
One time with the eagle, one time with the stripper. He's all about that one time. I still want that patch. It's just that one time.
On the complete opposite spectrum, Grandmaster J found guilty of pointing rifles at officers during the Louisville protest. Do you remember who Grandmaster J is?
I remember Grandmaster J.
Grandmaster J is the head.
But I remember.
He's also the head of the NFAC, the Not Fucking Around crew, the all-black militia that would march armed during the BLM protest. John Johnson, the leader of the militia who goes by the name Grandmaster J, was found guilty on Friday by a federal grand jury of assaulting and pointing a firearm at law enforcement officials during racial justice protests in downtown Louisville the night before the 2020 Kentucky Derby. Johnson, a 59-year-old man from Cincinnati area, had been accused of pointing, quote, an AR platform rifle at FBI agent, a Secret Service agent, and several Louisville Metro Police officers while they were on the roof of a building the night before the Derby, which had been rescheduled to September 5th that year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So, allegedly, he pointed a rifle, an AR platform rifle.
At least they didn't say assault weapon.
Yeah, an FBI agent, a Secret Service agent, and several Louisville Metro Police officers. Federal grand jury indicted Johnson in February 2021 on one count of assaulting, resisting, or impeding certain officers or employees, and one count of brandishing a firearm in relation to a crime of violence. Johnson faces a sentence of at least 7 years in prison without the option of parole, according to a news release by the U.S. Department of Justice issued Sunday. Parole does not exist in the federal system. The incident occurred amid protest over Breonna. Yeah. The incident occurred amid protest over the Breonna Taylor killing. Johnson was in town with the armed Not Fucking Around coalition to participate in the demonstrations around the Derby. The group previously came to Louisville that July, and though an opposing armed group was also in attendance, no violence ensued. In the September 4 incident, the officers were on the roof. Officers on the roof were, quote, blinded by a light, which they shortly thereafter determined was a flashlight mounted to the rifle being aimed at them by Johnson, according to the federal complaint. Police said their officers were on the Jefferson County Grand Jury building on Liberty Street, which is just south of Jefferson Square Park, to keep an eye on the protest for safety reasons. An LMPD, that's Louisville Metro Police Department, sergeant said in local court last May that Johnson met with LPMD personnel beforehand and was told only law enforcement would be on the roofs that weekend. Johnson and the member of the group were also advised not to point weapons at officers during the protest.
Well, no shit.
So
he
first
walked
off,
into that as a dumbass. So,
well, dumbasses do as dumbasses are, but he did nothing wrong.
Stupid is stupid does, Mrs. Blue.
He did nothing wrong. Officers aren't people.
No, I have no sympathies or qualms with that.
No, it's like when they burnt down the police station. Fucking fantastic.
They should have targeted more.
when they smashed Mom and Pa Barbecue, no. Bad boy. Bad. Go to the corner.
Yep.
No. But it's kind of messed up because like I liked the idea of the NFAC. I'm a militia guy. I loved armed protest. I loved armed groups. I love the community that is created around them. But it sucks that he got for it. So
when you're playing that game, it's bound to happen at some point because you're pushing your limits, fucking with authority, with their perceived authority anyway. And they gave him the heads up. They were going to be on the rooftops. Don't put you guys at us, and everything will be fine. And he still went ahead and did it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
them saying he did it because
them saying we're going to be on the rooftops doesn't mean that the magical words that were just said are going to prevent others from being on the rooftop.
That is true.
Right? So, yeah, I don't know.
Just like it's not unheard of for people to yell at cops as they're breaking into somebody's house as a B&E, to try and protect themselves from getting shot. And then when actual cops do a B&E and get shot at,
they fucking shoot back and kill Breonna Taylor's boyfriend.
Yep.
Or Duncan Lamp. Or a whole bunch of other people. But, yeah, bludgeons are not your buddies. Can't trust them. But he did nothing wrong. In my opinion. And a lot of people won't like that opinion, but SOL, I don't care. I don't care about your opinion either.
Those a lot of people probably aren't watching our podcast anyway.
What's that other meme? It's isn't my life more important than your freedom? No, bro, I don't know you. My lunch is more important than you are. Like I got a jug of sweet tea in the fridge. I don't give a fuck about your life, bro. Don't touch my tea.
Your stuff is worth more than a human life? Yes.
Yes, because it's my stuff. But on that note,
to my labor, that's my life.
Yes. FBI provides Chicago police with fake online identities for, quote, social media exploitation team. FBI provides Chicago police with fake online identities for, quote, social media exploitation team. That cute trad girl that you're talking to, she's a Fed, bro. I'm sorry. She's a Fed. She's a Fed.
She has tattoos. She's into guns and freedom. She's a Fed.
That OnlyFans that you're paying, that OnlyFans girl that is actually responding to your messages, yeah, bro, she's a Fed.
It's a trap.
Brian Campbell couldn't sleep. It was May 31st, 2020, and demonstrations sparked by the murder of George Floyd were spreading around the world. Before going to bed, the Chicago Police Department officer had come across a tweet that appeared to show the destruction of his force's property. Quote, man in Joker mask ignited a police squad car today in Chicago's protest, it read. Quote, managed to capture a few pictures. The tweet had been republished by law enforcement today in a post that claimed, quote, the peaceful protest resulted in anything but peace. I follow them on Telegram because they post a lot of good links. One photo in the tweet showed the masked man with his hands near the gas tank of a police car. Another showed the car in flames. The man stood in the foreground, his arms spread wide open, the Joker's outsized grin frozen on his face. The images confirmed a worldview in which police were victims rather than aggressors. Campbell stayed awake, obsessing over them. What he did next would become important for the little-known CPD task force overseen by the FBI. Called the Social Media Exploitation, or SOMEX team. The task force had been set up to help the FBI find informants and intelligence using information gleaned from social sites. The Intercept and Chicago-based transparency groups obtained more than 800 pages of emails and other documents about the team through public records request. These show that the team's officers were given broad leeway to investigate people across platforms including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, using fake social media accounts flourished by the FBI in violation of some platforms' policies. Campbell's work would be held up as a model for the team. Remember right before the election in 2020 when half of our friends got booted?
Yep.
Because they were part of particularly redacted group on Facebook and Instagram.
Yep.
It was because of shit like this. It was because of shit like this. Yeah. As we said, that trad girl you're talking to, that guy that keeps asking you to show you your 10.5-inch barrel. Yeah, the guy saying, when do we start shooting people? He's a fucking cop, bro. That's just the way it is.
That video you posted the other day.
Oh, with Church?
Yeah, the federal agent on his hat, and he's like at the range.
Yeah, he posted. I think he has 4 of those that he made. Like his videos keep, or the TikTok chat keeps getting banned. But every time he pops back up, he posts all 4 of those. I have the second one saved. I'll have to send it to you. Yeah. They're hilarious. I'm in the Discord chat now too. So definitely among the Glowies. Across the United States, federal and local authorities were combing social media sites for scraps of information, disseminating alarmist notices about, quote, revolutionary anti-capitalist gatherings, suburban candlelight vigils, and children's peace marches. Campbell thought that maybe he could identify a man in the Joker mask. In the comments beneath the tweet, he had noted that a man's unusual tattoos, quote, scrolled across his neck was the word pretty. At 5:09, the police officer believed he had found the match. Campbell emailed the Crime Prevention and Information Center (CPIC), Chicago Area Fusion Center, set up by sharing intelligence among police and federal agencies. Quote, did a little digging and found this POS, he wrote, using the abbreviation for piece of shit. He did not say how. Campbell determined that the man in the tweet was Chicago resident Timothy O'Donnell. A few hours later, his tip was turned into a suspicious activity report and entered in the FBI's eGuardian system, through which law enforcement agencies share threats. Soon after the officer searched for O'Donnell's apartment, in a bedroom, they found a Joker mask. So, yeah, this is just a different version of fourth generation warfare.
Yeah.
You know, this is instead of coming at something head on, they're doing end rounds through social media, using facial recognition, using the new big one now is not facial recognition, it's gait recognition, the way you walk, the way you move. China has helped a lot with that. Yes. So yeah, like half your friends on social media are feds or informants.
Yeah, I believe it.
Blah, 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 blah. O'Donnell was charged with arson. What's that?
I was saying, so half are feds or informants, and the other half are bots.
Yeah.
Who's real?
Yeah, the cute girl. That cute girl is definitely a bot. Like everyone except for that girl who did the commercial for us. She's like the only one. She's the only one that's not a bot.
Yeah.
And that's because she's badass like that.
Mm-hmm.
O'Donnell, that's the guy in the Joker mask, was charged with arson. In February, following nearly 2 years in custody, he pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of civil disorder. Woo! 2021 report by Chicago's Office of Inspector General found that the night of the fire, police had kettled protesters into an area with many department vehicles potentially contributing to the damage. Quote, he was a target, really simple, because he had a mask on his face, says O'Donnell's attorney, Michael Leonard, who said that the surveillance camera footage shows dozens of other people trying to damage police cars. Quote, this was about the guy in the Joker mask because he was seen in photographs, and that's sexy from a police standpoint, which is not wrong. He was definitely singled out. So, let's see, I'm going to fast forward on this to by any means, the week that followed George Floyd's murder by white police officers was an intense moment in Chicago and in the U.S. In U.S. history. Thousands of people took to the city streets to peacefully demonstrate against police violence, marching along Lakeshore Drive and gathering outside the Trump Hotel. Despite ample warning, the Office of Inspector General reportedly found Chicago's police were unprepared. When they did react, the responses was chaotic and excessively violent, with officers vigorously hiding their badge numbers, turning off their body cameras, blasting people with pepper spray at close range, bantering about shooting people who were fleeing police in the head, and telling an arrestee that they would be raped in jail. Yeah. Police are assholes, bro.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was proven so many times through those protests.
Yep.
Nothing
will ever change. There's too much money. The Somex's team's reaction was also troubling. Ostensibly, the team's mission was to provide both the FBI and the CPD with useful intelligence, but the documents show that the Somex officers did instead flag potential damage of police cars, investigate the social media connections of people who had made threats online, and cull, that's C-U-L-L, videos of the department's YouTube channel. In a few incidences, they also circulated posts about upcoming demonstrations, including an event called North Side Protest for Black Lives. Somex team supervisors did not apparently see this as a failure, though. Documents show that in the protest and their aftermath, commanding officers spotted an opportunity to prove the recently established task force worth. They had officers troll social media for posts that appeared to show arson or destruction of police property, with an eye toward finding footage for so-called seeking to identify videos, basically wanted videos, to be disseminated on the YouTube channel. They also deepened partnerships with surveillance tech outfits, including the Amazon Ring. Yeah. Quote, "This is surveillance in the digital age," said Matthew Gargila, a historian and political analyst with the Electronic Frontier Foundation, which for years has tracked the use of fake social media accounts by police and federal agencies. The pressure to identify threats and preserve wanted videos raised the specter of police assuming guilt by association, he noted. Quote, "The real fear is that people who have done nothing wrong are going to be punished and face reprisals for just being in proximity." That's how it's always worked, bro. That's how it's always worked. So, but this is a really long article. I don't want to read the whole thing. But yeah, this shit is fucked up and stuff, and it's not going to change. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse because as people start to push back against police violence, as they have, the police and the powers that be are going to use systems of investigation that don't necessarily require one-on-one interaction with people. Right? It's the same with with warfare. Flag draped caskets do not make for good publicity. So so instead of using boots on the ground, they're switching to predator drones. Right? They're switching to bombing campaigns. Bombing campaigns kill innocent people, but nobody really cares about brown kids over there because there's no flag draped casket on the news. Right? There's no black marks on the Walmart Hall of Heroes. So, and that's good publicity for here in the U.S. because the majority of the people in the U.S., all they see is bad guy over there dead.
Yep.
Right. That's how this is, and that's how this is going to go. Is the people aren't going to care what the police are doing, as long as they're not hearing about the police killing this person or beating that person up, or seeing video of Granny there in Colorado getting her arm broke for picking flowers. So. No, this is just going to get worse. No, I don't really have anything to say beyond that.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So, you want to get out of here early?
Yeah, I guess we went through all the articles, right?
Well, I mean, bro, you know me. I can dig up a dozen more articles, but
yeah,
I'm just not feeling it, bro. I'm tired already. No.
Well, without the banter of our other two colleagues,
conversations are quick when it's just two people.
Exactly. You can't bounce it off, two other guys. It's just two of us.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm not going to go through all the whole rigmarole. So the links are in the description below. Help us out.
Yeah. I'm going to mention to anybody that does watch, we are working on another contest with Book Boogie on Twitter for the flags.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're on Twitter. We're on Twitter, by the way. Yes.
Anarchy among
fra. Because they only allowed so many letters.
Book Boogie, he does the custom flags, and he's sending me a bunch. Apparently, he already sent them. I gotta check with him and see if he has like a tracking number. But he already sent me a bunch to do with As I Will. So we got to figure out another contest. Hopefully, get some more entries.
more than 2 entries.
More than 2. Yeah, these custom flags. So anybody watching, anybody listening, go check out our Twitter. Keep an eye on it because these are really good, high quality flags. Chris has a couple that he usually has in his background. And Book Boogie does custom flags as well. If you have a design idea in mind, you just got to shoot him your idea, and he'll try and turn it into a flag or a patch for you.
Well,
so,
yeah.
On that
note, give us a piece of life advice.
Man, I just did that whole spiel, and you want me to come up with life advice? I never have a good thing for life advice.
Don't expect too much from your friends. We'll catch you on the
There you
next
go.
one. Peace.